Hello, welcome to our adventure. I hope you are prepared for it. Please, I would like to ask you to close your eyes, relax, and let your imagination do the rest. It will be an incredible experience.
Did you know that there were some theories about the origin of the name Amazons? Some historians believe that Orellana was caught in conflict with the tribe Tapuyas, where warriors were both female and male, although some historians argue that the male warrior may have been mistaken for a woman as they used makeshift grass skirts and had long hair. It was after this conflict that Orellana thought of the name Amazon, derived from the Battle of the Greeks and the Amazons. The women are often painted as beautiful, brave, and strong, with short tunics and a bare breast. It's likely that the warriors in the native Brazilian tribe reminded Oriana of these female warriors from the Greek stories. One other theory is that the word Amazon came from the local indigenous word. The Amazon River was supposedly first called Rio Santa Maria de la Mar Dulce by the Spanish invaders of the 1500s. Mar Dulce means freshwater sea. That probably refers to the fact that the Amazon River is freshwater and so big that it seems like sea. However, years later, it was called the Amazon River, which is believed that to come from the indigenous world from the Tupi or Guarani language. When it's translated into Portuguese, the word becomes Amazon, meaning boat breaker, which was used to describe the strong and complex root system of local hydrophilic plants. However, this theory is mostly speculation, and it was widely believed that the name Amazon came from the Orellanas and his beliefs.
Our trip begins in Manaus, the heart of the Amazon rainforest. This is where you can see a very small part of everything that the jungle covers. We can see a lot of vegetation, some roads, and sadly, some deforestation. One of the biggest trees in the Amazon is the red angelim of 88 meters high. To have an idea, the Statue of Liberty, from its base, measures 93 meters high. When walking in the jungle, you must be careful with your head. You can hit the branches of the trees. While we walk through Manaus, in the center of the city, we can feel the immense heat that awaits us from the street, around 40 degrees with an even greater thermal sensation, maybe 45, 46 Celsius degrees. We can feel the humidity of the jungle. We realize that we expect days of sweat, survival, and real adventure. Due to the temperature, we must be well hydrated to control our body temperature. So we suggest to bring a bottle of water with you, or you can buy one in the markets around. Our day in Manaus is just a stopover of the jungle tour, our survival tour, and where we will enter the Yaú National Park, which is one of the largest reserves in South America and declared as a World Heritage Site. It covers an area over than 5.6 million acres. Can you imagine that? Here inhabits jaguars, manatees, pink river dolphins, and many other species of flora and fauna. The objective of this park is to preserve the Amazonian ecosystem. While the sunset comes, the appearance of the city changes completely. The sky turns orange to yellow, changing to dark. We feel the wind that gently touches our body. It seems nice to walk through its markets. We can enjoy the port. Everyone begins to disappear. The shops close, and you can appreciate the nocturnal fauna that comes out and enjoys that there is no human presence.
It's 7 a.m.
The sun shines and illuminates us. We drink a hot coffee that shakes our entire soul. We never thought that a simple cup of coffee would cheer up as this coffee did it. We can depart our tour by boat with all our provisions to fully enjoy the Amazon jungle. And we start making our way in the Rio Negro. We leave Manaus passing under the bridge that connects the city with Iranduba for more than 3 kilometers. We will go in search of a well-preserved place, where we can fully enjoy or where we can sleep in the jungle. As we headed to the Jaú National Park, located at about 200 kilometers from the Rio Negro, our first stop is one of the islets of the Anavilhanas National Park. Now, we will stop to visit an indigenous village, the Caboclos, descendant of the first Portuguese who arrived in Brazil, and today live on the edge of the affluent of the Amazon. We will climb a staircase to where we will see their cabins and their main yard. The head of the community welcomes us, and meanwhile we will take a tour to browse its beautiful site. We feel a different smell. What could it be? A roast smell, but an aroma that we've never felt before. We realize that they are roasting a small yacaré, an armadillo. Seeing these people live mainly from hunting and fishing in the surroundings, we can see them in their respective ancestral customs. We will leave the island and enter the Anavilhanas National Park, passing an endless number of mini islands and mangroves. At this point, the Rio Negro reached 27 kilometers wide, and we can see that it almost seems like an open sea. Almost 400 islands are distributed over 90 kilometers long, forming the largest freshwater archipelago in the world. Here, the flow is enormous, and the depth of the river is about 300 meters. We see with amazement this breathtaking sight. Here, we can see the famous boros, or pink dolphins, the largest freshwater dolphins. They are characterized by their enormous thin snouts, and they have the ability to move their neck as they do not have cervical vertebra fused. This allows them to enter the flooded forest, to hunt their prey between the roots. They start to appear slowly. We hear the typical snort, and we see them showing their back. We arrive at a jetty, where some of them come and are quite sociable, but also vulnerable to being hunted. By touching these dolphins, we can check the high temperature of the water. It really burns. We continue our route until we reach Nova Irao, the last town where the Rio Negro Highway arrives. From here, there are no more towns or communications. Everything is water, jungles, and scattered village. Here we will sleep in a small pension where we will see a million stars. Everything is in silence. We only hear the sound of the Amazon animals appearing slowly. We feel a little scared, but excited.
We will continue traveling the other half of the way to the Carabinani base, the main entrance to the Jaú National Park. Along the way, we can see more dolphins and another huge river. All around us there is only water and vegetation. We can enjoy the landscape along with the beautiful dolphins. We arrive at our destination, the Jaú National Park, the largest jungle reserve in the country and the largest natural park in the world, with an intact humid natural forest with almost 24,000 square kilometers. It has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 2003, and in all honesty, it is a breathtaking and incredible place where we will spend the last days. We have neither electricity nor water. The only thing we got there is a place to put hammocks. We feel the sounds of the jungle with the company of tarantulas bearing a hand that inhabits the surrounding trees. A person is approaching us. Her name is Claudette. She begins to tell us that she is a woman born, raised, and educated in the jungle of Jaú. She tells us that her only dream is to live and die there, away from all civilization. She invited us to visit her house. It is very small and smells like humid wood. She begins to tell us that she is a Cabocla woman and that she and her family are one of the few people who inhabit the national park. She tells us that sometimes she receives tourists to obtain food. The Caboclos, in theory, are the only ones that legitimately can live from fishing and hunting in the area. She tells us that a moment ago she hunted a jaguar since it was prowling her house and was a great threat to her family. Now with clothed, we will make our first walk along a path inside the jungle. We go with a machete to make our way through this path. We feel the sounds of the birds, the leaves crunch as we step on them. She tells us stories about the jungle, incredible things. She tells us where to get clean water and tells us to be very careful with snakes. She's a really wise woman. We can see caterpillars, tick insects, spiders, and many other different species that we never thought they existed. Night falls, everything turns completely dark, and we are in the heart of the jungle. We go to Anigapo, which means flooded forest. It feels incredible. Silence invades everything, and you only hear the sounds that we make. We stop next to a burrow of giant otters. While we are silent, we feel how slowly they come closer to us, and you can appreciate in the distance some of their small heads.